Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Nichols Nook. Today we are going to be doing a Q&A.
So you guys gave us a lot of your questions on Instagram, and if you're not following us over there on Instagram already, be sure to go ahead and do that just so you don't miss any posts. And yeah, so basically we're gonna take the questions that you guys gave us and try to answer as many as we possibly can. But honestly, we got so many questions. We are not gonna be able to answer all of those today. We'll get through as many as we can.
That's fine, we'll do it eventually in another video. So
yeah.
There's a lot. I'm really excited about these. I haven't looked at the questions yet. She has, so
right.
I'm interested to know what you guys are curious about. Yeah, so let's get started.
So we're gonna actually start out with the questions that kept recurring. So a lot of you guys were wondering some certain things, and so we're gonna start out with those questions first,
okay.
And then we'll move on to any of the other questions. Just because if there's multiple people that want to know the answer, I figured those would be the best questions to start with.
Absolutely.
So. All right, so first question, easy peasy, how old are you?
All right.
This one came up a couple of times actually.
Yeah,
so.
I am 29 and you are?
And I am 28 and I'll be turning 29 here in a few months.
We're almost out of that 20 years and it's starting to sink in that we are getting older now.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we don't get ID'd if we're having a drink or...
No.
No? You still get ID'd?
No, I mean, like, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh. Yeah. And
yeah.
Then what's even, like, when we see high schoolers or freshmen, college freshmen, it's like, wow, they're really young. Like,
yeah, and a lot of you guys are probably younger or in college, and like we feel young at heart, but yeah, when we see younger people out and about, we're like, oh my gosh, it makes us feel so old.
Yeah, I wish I could just stay this age for the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's still a lot more to live for.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually in Walmart the other day, and the cashier, I was during the middle of the day, and the cashier, did I tell you this?
Mm-mm.
Oh. So the cashier was like, oh, nice. No kids today? So
No.
I'm like, oh, I truly look like a mom now, I guess, because she thought I was running my errands while the kids were at school. So I thought that was pretty funny. All right, next question. How did you meet? So we can actually do a video on this, I feel. We'll just give you a shortened answer to this question, and then if you guys want to see kind of a longer story on this, then we can definitely do a video on that. So we actually met in 10th grade in our life science class in high school, and Chaz was such a gentleman. Do you want to tell him what you did?
Yeah, I did a lot of things, but I was just a big flirt. And my way of flirting was to put an ice cube. So it was a science lab, so we had these stools, and the jean skirts were very popular back then.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
wearing a jean skirt, and in the back of the lab I took an ice cube, and while you were up I put it on the chair so that when she sat down,
it would go up my skirt
on an ice cube.
Yeah, I figured out right away who that was. He thought he was flirting, but I was like, yeah.
Who does that?
Who does that? Well, who puts ice in somebody's chair? That's like a way of flirting now, I guess. But
right. Well, that's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
So how long have we known each other?
It was 2006, because that would have been our sophomore year, because we graduated in 08. No, it must have been 2005. It was 2005.
So 13 years.
13 years ago.
We've known each other for 13 years.
13 years.
Woo.
Finally, we figured that out. And we will have actually been together since we've been dating 11 years in October. Like actually together as a couple. We've
grown up together.
Yeah.
It's been really cool.
We really have.
Yeah.
It is awesome. We've definitely gone through,
Some changes.
ups and downs and changes and everything in life. And yeah, it's
a roller coaster.
Cool. I feel like that contributes a lot to our relationship though, because we know so much about each other, which, I mean, maybe too much. Okay. Next question is, how did you know when you were ready for a baby or ready to be parents? Like, how did we know that we were ready?
Well, I think we've always talked about having children and how many we want. Um, I, but I knew that we weren't ready for children in high school or college, and we probably, and then we had to get married. So because we dated for so long, we got married. We were already like at that window to start having kids. So we knew we wanted kids. As soon as we got married, we settled in a little bit, and they were like, okay, let's go ahead and try and make a baby. I always knew she was going to be a great mom because of how she is with children, being a teacher and everything. She knows so much about like classroom management, how to speak to kids in a good way to make them actually listen, and she cares and is very safety oriented, so her kids will be wearing bubble suits pretty much and helmets when they're in the grocery store. So I always knew you were going to be a good mom, and you're just a sweetie.
Overprotective.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's how moms are supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, my mom was very protective over me, so I also grew up like that. So
I think mine was probably the opposite.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be
It'll be a good balance,
Yeah.
I think, honestly. Yeah. And one of your questions actually was why we waited so long to get married. Do you want to answer that now as well? Or
Yeah, is it down the list? Or
it
is
wasn't one of the recurring ones, just one person answered. So yeah.
Bonus question.
Bonus question.
Well,
First of all, we started dating senior year of high school. So we were still in high school when we started dating. So we obviously weren't going to get married, that soon after that.
Old.
Yeah. And then we both went off to college.
And I went to a separate college also.
For a semester.
So we had a little bit of long distance. We came back.
Both got into FSU.
Then we finally went to FSU, and we were poor. I mean,
poor college students.
I was eating ramen. Publix was my savior with like buy one get one free pizzas. I was a delivery boy. I didn't have the money, and we
were both in school full time.
My big thing was like, if I'm gonna marry someone, I want to do it right. So she deserves the best, so I wanted to make sure I could afford to give her the best, and that had to wait until college or until I graduated and got a job, which I did, and then so I started saving up. We did a little bit of long distance there
for 2 years.
While I was in South Dakota, you were still in Florida.
Yeah.
So we proposed while I proposed while you were still in Florida and I was still in South Dakota. We finally got married. And I was just able to get her the beautiful ring and the wedding that she deserves.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were so broke. I mean, really, we were so broke. We just wanted to make sure that we were comfortable financially and kind of in our careers. I mean, at that point, I had been teaching for 3 years. Yeah. I was in my 3rd year of teaching already. And so, yeah, I think you have to think about all of the factors that come into getting married and what that means. It doesn't mean you can't be with the other person. Although it was like every single time he would come home to visit because he was away, I would be like, oh my gosh, is he going to propose this weekend? And, it never happened until I really actually wasn't expecting it. And so that was really cool. And we actually have footage from the engagement that I never put into a video.
Oh, you
should.
Yeah,
if you guys want to see our engagement, it was in 2013. Drop a comment down below and let us know because I would love to share that with you guys.
It's a throwback.
Even though, I mean.
I'd be interested in watching it.
Yeah, it's been a while, but that would be so cool.
Yeah.
We also, go ahead.
And like, some people don't, you don't have to have this huge wedding and whatnot. So it was just kind of what we wanted. That was just our opinion. I wanted it to go big. We have a lot of family members, and I think I've always heard like the financial stress adds so much hardship to a marriage. So getting just like both of our lives financially set, I think has really helped with our marriage, even though we've only been married for 2 years.
Yeah, almost 3.
Yeah, almost 3.
Yeah, we just basically wanted to start off on the right foot, so that it wasn't going into the marriage with, financial problems already, really. Which we're still in debt from college, but That's a whole other
That's another
video.
Yeah. Can I read one?
Sure.
All right. When are you due?
We are due with our baby March 8th. So a lot of you guys have been asking when in March. So the due date is March 8th, 2019.
All right. We'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah. No.
How far along are you?
I am currently 16 weeks and 2 days as we're filming this video. So you guys are all caught up now, by the way. You'll be getting my 16-week update soon from this week. So you're absolutely caught up.
Is your pregnancy monitored more frequently due to your previous pregnancy?
So originally I thought that it would be, and it kind of is, I guess, a little bit. When I first found out that we were pregnant again, I called to see if I can get an early ultrasound at maybe like 4 or 5 weeks right after I found out, just to, make sure that everything was good from the beginning. But they actually didn't want to see me still until 8 to 10 weeks, even though I told them about the miscarriage earlier this year. So I was a little surprised about that, and it did make me a little nervous. But ever since I have been going to our ultrasound appointments and our follow-up appointments, I feel very comfortable in that they're monitoring us really well this time. With all of the antibodies and blood tests and the genetic testing. And, every time I go in, she asks me, how are you feeling? Are you bleeding? Are you cramping? I mean, she's very thorough. And so I do feel well taken care of. But I wouldn't say that I feel like it's monitored any more closely, really. I always bring up my concerns because of the past miscarriage. But if I didn't, I don't think that they would really... I think they would just treat it as a normal pregnancy. Yeah. What gender do you want the baby to be, and when is the gender reveal party? So this is something that has come up quite often.
Okay.
So really, we just want a healthy baby, especially after going through a miscarriage. We are not being picky. Of course, we tend to think one way or the other. We're predicting, and of course, both would be fun. For example, like if I had a little girl, I would love to have a little girl because she would be like my mini-me, and I would love to, just do girly things with her. And not that she would, even if she was a tomboy, I feel like we would just have so much fun. And I think she would be a daddy's girl because after seeing our foster daughter that we had last year with Chaz, she would be a total daddy's girl. But if we had a boy, he would for sure be a mama's boy. I spoiled Chief like so much.
Chief's a mama's boy.
Oh, he's a mama's boy like no other. Yeah.
I'm just good for throwing the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, having a little boy would be fun. You could take him out and go do all your guy stuff like fishing and...
I'm just good for playing.
Ball and playing.
Yeah.
Tickling.
Roughhousing. But you're the snuggle bug.
Yeah.
And the one that he's always going to run to when he gets hurt. Yeah. Which I think most kids do. So either way, we'll be very happy. That's like, I remember, when I was hurt when I was a child, just like feeling mom like hold me made me feel so much better. It's like mommy magic. It's really cool. Yeah, mommy magic. I love it. I want a boy and a girl, but I think this first one, I would like a boy because I feel like I feel like they would be that big brother, figure for a girl as they're growing up to protect her, and I just want to have the boy be the older one. And if it's a girl? And if it's a girl, then I'm extremely excited. I really want a girl. I want a girl. I really do. I want a little daddy's girl. Yeah. And the gender reveal party is actually October 13th, so here in just a few weeks. But you guys won't see it until a little bit after that, only because we have my friend Kayla coming over to take some pictures, and I want to be able to share those with you guys as well, just because she's going to capture, just capturing that on top of the video. I feel it just would make a really cool video for you guys. So we'll get it out as soon as possible. Yes, don't worry. We'll let you guys know as soon as we can. So yeah. But October 13th is when the gender reveal party is planned for, and then you guys will know that week after. Are you planning on taking a baby moon? This is before the baby comes? Mm-hmm. It's like your last time being just the two of you before the baby comes. Probably not. Just the two of us.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, where would we want to go?
I mean, I guess where would we go? Somewhere tropical? We
You
live in
there.
Florida.
I mean, yeah, we can do a Babymoon every weekend if we want.
Yeah. Just go 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah, I just don't know where we would go.
Yeah. And honestly,
Unless it's to Montana.
yes, that's true. So his mom might maybe getting a job in Montana, so we might travel up there. But honestly, I don't know if I'm going to want to drive or fly being so
yeah.
close to my due date, honestly. And financially, I mean, babies are expensive.
Oh, yeah, we got to start saving.
Yeah.
That's all I want for Christmas is diapers.
Yeah, that's all we're asking for from our families is baby stuff from our registry. So we've been working on that on Amazon. It's kind of fun. All right, and how many kids do you want?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I would love, we've talked kind of about this before. I would love to have probably 3 children. And I say 3 because I feel like it's enough to where you have you feel like you have a big family and, you know, everyone just has someone to talk to and someone to do things with all the time. Mm-hmm. But the main thing about 3, why I don't know. I would maybe do 4, but 3 children like traveling on a road trip, in my opinion, would be good because everyone can kind of still fit in the car together but have their space, especially if it's like a 7-seater SUV or something. Yeah. Everyone can kind of still have their own space, and then we have Chief, so we'll probably always have a dog, which counts as a child in my eyes. A dog or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think 3 would be the perfect number because then everyone would be able to fit in the car together and
and you had
not
2.
be on top of each other.
I mean, you grew up in you have yourself and Brian, and I was a family of 3 kids. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think 3 is good because I think 3.
Okay. Although your story about your road trip, but you guys were in a 5-seater vehicle. So there was no space. Yeah. So I think if you have the means, or if we have the means at that time,
I'm getting
to have
RV.
A 7-seater
or
an RV.
We're getting an RV.
Then that. But yeah, I just tell them your story about your road trip.
Well, I was 9 years older than my brother and sister.
And I am too.
So I was, say, 10 when they were still little babies. We were on a road trip. I think it was to Yellowstone National Park from Florida. So that drive was really, I mean, it's a 30-hour drive, I think, something like that. And I was in a 5-seater car, 2 car seats. They were just throwing their French fries.
Were you in the middle?
No, I think it was my brother in the car seat, my sister in the booster seat, and I had my own seat. But oh my gosh, it was miserable. And the crying, they would hit each other, and I would get in the middle of it, and like my parents had no room to like come back there and help, so it was like me managing the chaos. I learned a lot about parenthood
from a young age.
From a young age, being 9 years older than my siblings. You know, I was babysitting nonstop, so I pretty much raised those 2 kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is funny because I'm 9 years older than my brother as well, and it just happened to work out. Now our siblings are the same age, and we're the same age, so kind of cool.
But we definitely want to have our kids closer in age.
Right.
My brother and sister are a lot closer because they're closer in age, whereas I'm 29 and they're still in college doing their thing. And like we said earlier, you know, they just seem so young to us now. So I want our kids to be close in age so that they can be like buddies.
Yeah, if possible.
Yeah, they might hate each other.
Well, for a little while, I feel like that's all siblings.
Do you keep in touch with your foster child?
Yes, we do. We actually just talked to her on the phone today. So we talk to her every couple of weeks, and her birthday is actually on Wednesday, so we just mailed her a birthday present, and Chief is whining because he wants the attention right now. But yeah, so we do stay in touch with our foster child, and you know, basically her social worker just kind of keeps us up to date on, you know, how she's doing and check just kind of the plans, and everything's still kind of in limbo right now with her adopted family. And but yes, we do definitely keep in touch with her because we love her. We we're her support people. We're her, what she feels are her family members. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard talking to her on the phone because it kind of breaks my heart every time. Do we plan on fostering any other little ones, or do you want to adopt in the future? It's a good question.
It is.
Led right into it. So I would say yes. We want to foster probably a younger child this time.
Yeah, so I absolutely 110% want to adopt in the future. I mean, I feel like God put our foster daughter in our lives earlier for a reason. And I feel like our minds and our eyes and hearts have been opened. Ouch.
Come on.
Okay, we have a big baby right here. But our hearts have been open to fostering and adoption because of her. And I feel like there are so many children out there that are in need of a loving home. Now, we're not going to foster or adopt right away because we have the baby on the way. But, when the time is right, we definitely will consider fostering or fostering to adopt in the future, just because I feel like, yes, I feel so incredibly blessed to have a biological child, and I'm just so grateful. But I also feel like we can help other children that are out there.
Next question. Do you plan on adding any pets to your family?
With this crazy boy? Just kidding. Well, this is something that we've talked about too recently.
We do talk about this a lot. I think once a month we probably are like, should we get another puppy for Chief? Chief, do you want a puppy sister?
Puppy sister?
And then, we see a puppy and they're just so cute. So I do eventually want another dog. It's just when are we going to do that?
Right.
I think probably a little bit down the road when the baby is maybe 1 or 2, and I think it'd be a really cute Christmas gift, and that puppy could grow up with our children.
Mm-hmm. Well, and now, Chief will be 6 in November. So as he's getting older, we've also talked about getting a puppy for that reason, kind of just to keep him young and to give him a companion. Because yes, we have Chewy, but that's just honestly not the same as having a dog. And he is really good with Chewy. He's amazing with Chewy, which I know you guys have asked about, and we're gonna do a separate video on that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he needs a puppy to play with, and I'm sure he'll do really well with our kids, but
I think our opinion will change too when we have the baby, because I think he's gonna be super jealous
and hyper.
And I think he'll need, most of her will be holding the baby, and he's going, I want to be held too, and
Yeah.
I think he'll just need somebody else.
Some loves.
To love on.
Yeah. So yes, we are considering it. Do you have any names picked out yet for your baby? And will you announce before birth? So yes, we have picked out our top baby boy and baby girl names for our baby, but we don't know the gender yet. And we're not going to reveal the baby's name until probably right before the birth, just because, it's just something special that we want to keep between us until that time. So, but yes, we have picked out our baby names, and we will share those with you guys later on, right before the birth.
Next question is, what is the best thing about living in Florida? Best thing about living in Florida, I'm looking forward to this winter. So I just actually looked it up because it's been so blistering hot. I'm like, when does it get cold again? Because I kind of forget when it starts to cool off. I think it was yesterday I looked up what is the average temperatures in October for this area, and it doesn't get cold. It doesn't drop below 48 degrees. And I'm like, after living in South Dakota for 3 years, I'm like, 48 degrees, that's short weather.
Yeah, that's hot still.
That's amazing. I can't wait to wintertime.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not.
Although the humidity makes it feel colder than it actually is. So.
Yeah, but it's not windy.
Yeah, we got down to in the 15, -20s or something like that in South Dakota last year, and
So,
it was cold.
Yeah, the best thing about living in Florida to me
Is the weather.
Is the weather.
Yeah.
What about you?
The best thing for me, I mean, it feels, and it probably sounds kind of silly, but if you've ever lived up north, you might know what I'm talking about. But up north to me it's just gray and dreary, and especially in the winters last so long. So I just never really felt truly happy living there. I really didn't. And here, as soon as I got down here to Florida, it was just like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. The sun is shining. It just has a whole different vibe for me. It is just a happier place to me, in my opinion. And we have family all around. So just everything combined for that, in my personal opinion, is just, it makes it the perfect place to live. You have the water, you have the beach. And I just love all of the sunshine, and it's just a happy place. Will you be returning to teaching once the baby comes, and or ever? So a lot of you guys have been wondering this. So as of right now, as you know, I'm not teaching this year, and that is just because I wanted to take a break and stay home to focus on myself and our family. And it has been the best decision that I think we could have made for this year, honestly. Like, I just feel so much healthier in this pregnancy, and it just makes all the difference. And so I don't know exactly when or if I'm going to be returning to teaching. We've talked about me subbing here and there just for some extra income and to stay in the classroom and to stay up to date with like relevant topics in the classroom with education and everything. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I know you miss it a lot. And,
I do.
You know, it's like with you working from home, it's like, I know you miss the social aspect and the happiness of kids running around and giggling and singing and, you know, them doing silly things, and you making an impact on all those little children. So I know you miss it a lot, but it also took a lot of your time.
It did.
You gave teaching your everything. And, you know, as you guys from Classroom Diva saw, you know, you'd be up there during the weekend, you'd be up late grading papers and, you know, lesson planning, going above and beyond to, you know, take a normal, I guess, exercise and make it all cutesy and fun to make learning fun for the kids. And as much of it, and it just took a lot of time, I think, away from what you prefer to do or what you wanted to do, and take care of yourself too. So we'll see. I mean, I think subbing would be really good for you because it gets you back in the classroom. But you can also do it at your own pace, or your own schedule, and you don't have to lesson plan. You don't have to
grade papers.
You just go in.
Data. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted if I decide to go back to the classroom. And this kind of goes along with it. Will you go back to teaching elementary, or would you want to teach middle or high school students? So if I did go back, I would definitely stick with the primary grades. Even third grade for me was the highest that I would go. Yeah. So I definitely would stay in the primary grades. I do not see myself as a middle or high school teacher. I'm sure it would be a new experience and I would learn a lot, but props to you guys that can do that. I just don't think it's in my blood for me to teach middle or high school. How has being in the military affected your plans to buy a house? And are you worried you might be stationed elsewhere and have to sell?
We've never owned a house before. We've always rented. One thing that we have had issues with when renting is having chief. So a lot of, at least the rental market in South Dakota and even here, it was hard to find a house that we liked that was within like my housing allowance, and that had a fence for chief. So we had a lot of criteria to meet that it was really expensive to meet all those criteria for the houses here in Florida that were close to
where you work.
Where I work, so I didn't have to commute forever. It was very hard to check all those boxes as a renter, or as for renting a house. So we decided to buy, and we can make it exactly how we wanted. I think renting is great. However, we could paint the walls, but then you just have to immediately repaint it back. We were charged for things that,
Well, like they made me go back and scrub the baseboards, even though we paid to have it professionally cleaned. And
we were at the mercy of them. If the grass wasn't, if there were any bare patches from chief digging, we'd be charged.
I think it was $3.50 per square foot that there was like dead grass or no grass.
Yeah. And so I think that that bad experience of, kind of also swung our direction to buy a house here too. Another thing, I've always wanted to invest in real estate and have that passive income of having rental properties. So what a better place to buy a house and start your investment in rental property in Florida, that if something does happen, we can always come back to here and live in this house. That's one thing about buying, is make sure that you always, at least people told me, when you buy a house, make sure that you will always want to live there. This house will always have someone in it because of just the area, the fence, being the location to how close it is to a military base. I know we will always have renters, so that kind of put my mind at rest for buying, because we know that somebody will always be here and we will always want to come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know for sure that we won't live here forever. Being in the military, we will move again. So, it kind of stinks because I like this house a lot. But
again, it's ours.
But it's
and
ours,
we have family here.
And we have family. So I know for sure we will be moving again. But I know that it will be filled. We have family to look after the house. And the beauty about living or being in the military is you can go around to all of these different states and countries and buy houses there all throughout the country where you would eventually like to settle down and increase your rental properties.
Yeah, and so that's just creating a lot of passive income, like you said, from all of these different rental properties that we could have if we had three or four, properties where we're receiving rental income each month. Then, and if we decide to sell one day, we'll be making a profit off of those properties. So I'm going to have this be the last question because I know this video has been going on kind of long. And if we didn't get to your question today, I'm so sorry, but we will either do a video on it or maybe we'll do another Q&A in the future just to kind of make sure we're covering all of your questions.
Yeah, let us know if you want us to do more of these.
Yeah. So this one is another pregnancy question. How long did it take you to conceive the first time you got pregnant versus this time, like after the miscarriage? Sorry if you can hear that, you guys. Chief's chewing on his bone right there. But we started trying in November, I would say. So November was my first cycle, and we got pregnant for the first time in February.
Oh, yeah.
So it was, 4 months? So it took us 4 months the first time to conceive. Apparently you are actually more fertile or very, very fertile after you miscarry because your body has just gone through that, which I don't know if that's true or not, but I have heard that from several people. But
it seems like it.
Yeah, in our case. So we miscarried. We actually miscarried 6 weeks before my actual miscarriage because mine was a missed miscarriage. So I didn't know that the baby had passed away inside, but we had no sign of it. So I didn't actually miscarry where everything, where the process actually took place until May. And then once that happened, I got my period June 1st. And then as soon as that was over, we conceived. So first cycle after I miscarried.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took me from the time that I finished miscarrying, stopped bleeding, to the time where I started my period was a total of 3.5 weeks. And then again, once I had my period and once that was over, then we conceived. So I hope that answers your question. I actually had a friend that lived in our neighborhood, and she was like, oh yeah, she was like, all these kids you see running around here in the neighborhood, most of these were deployment babies. So apparently that's a thing. Apparently after, you know, husbands or spouses come back from deployment, you know, you haven't seen your spouse for a long time, and apparently everyone misses each other, and, you know, a lot of people conceive at that time. So yeah. That's how it was pretty much for us. I mean, it did take us 4 months, but that's kind of how it was. So yeah. It's kind of funny. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all we have for today. Sorry if this video was a little bit long, but again, if there is anything that you want to see a video on, or if you want me to go into more detail about, definitely leave a comment down below and we will do our best to answer those questions or do a video on that for you.
And make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It's free, you know, you just click on it. It'll allow you to get updates when we post a new video.
And we'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.